Hi guys, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. I'm a part-time clothing reseller, and here on my channel I have been going through every letter of the alphabet, and for every letter I have been going through brands that start with that letter that are great brands to resell, and today we are talking about the letter I. I have 8 I brands for you guys. I was trying to get past 10, but I didn't have more than 10 on my brands list. There may be more than 10 great brands that start with the letter I, but I only personally have 8 that I know of consciously and that are on my list. I was thinking about combining I and J, but we're just going to stick with I today. I'm just here down in my office, and I thought I would quickly record this I brands list video because I have it on my notes. I have everything ready to go. All I needed to do was record the video. As you can see, I have my sales that I need to ship off after this video. So let's dive right into it without too much talking, because I feel like with these brands list videos, there's like a ton of talking before people actually get to the brands, and we just want to hear the brands, right? So let's dive right in to the 8 I brands. And just to mention, for every brand, I will be saying the brand, spelling out the brand because I may be saying it incorrectly. The brands names for the I brands are pretty easy to say in my opinion, but sometimes they're like foreign name brands that I mispronounce. So I always spell them, and I'm going to give a brief description of what type of clothing they sell and what gender clothing they sell, if it's men's, women's, or kids and babies, stuff like that. So first brand is the brand Icebreaker, spelled Icebreaker. And Icebreaker sells men's, women's, and kids' active-wear clothing. They specialize in merino wool clothing, like base layer merino wool, 100%, and merino wool blends. I've come across this brand twice, and I picked it up both times, obviously, because Icebreaker is a great brand. The first time was at the Goodwill outlet, also known as the Bins. It was a pair of women's gray, extra small, merino wool bend capri activewear pants, and I only paid $2 for those, and I think they sold for like $40, which is pretty great. And then the other time I found the brand Icebreaker was at a thrift store named Savers. You probably have heard of it if you're a reseller in America. But yeah, it was at Savers. I found a new with tags, merino wool, either 100% merino wool tank top or a merino wool blend tank top. It was only marked at $4 something cents, and it ended up being the half off tag color. So I only paid $2 something cents for that new with tags tank top, and it sold for like $30 really, really quickly. So definitely keep an eye out for the brand Icebreaker, because I feel like it's a brand that you can actually find out in the wild. I found it twice now, so I feel like the average rate of finding it is once per every 6 months. If you're a part-time reseller, you might come across it more if you're a full-time reseller and need to go sourcing for inventory more often. Second brand is IC by Connie K, spelled IC space BY space CONNIE space K. Now, IC by Connie K sells women's artsy, login-looking clothing. I've heard that plus sizes in this brand do better, have a better sell-through rate, and sell for more money than other pieces by IC Connie K, which is generally true for basically all brands, right? I think the average women's size in America is like size 14, which is like a size large or extra large. So the bigger your clothing size is, in women's clothing especially, the better that it sells. Third brand is Imogene plus Willie, spelled IMOGENE space plus sign space WILLIE. And Imogene plus Willie sells women's and men's closet staples. Brief summary there, but that's all I had to say about Imogene plus Willie. Fourth brand is Iron and Resin, spelled IRON space Ansimal space RESIN. And Iron and Resin sells men's lumberjack-esque clothing. They also sell some women's clothing, but it's very insignificant compared to the amount of variety and different pieces that they sell of men's clothing. And it was just very lumberjack-esque, as I said. Fifth brand is Iro, spelled IRO. And Iro sells women's contemporary clothing, shoes, and accessories. Sixth brand is Isabel Marant, spelled ISABEL space MARANT, and Isabel Marant sells unique women's and men's clothing, as well as bags, accessories, and jewelry. So kind of a little bit of everything. Second to last brand is Invicta, spelled INVICTA, and Invicta sells men's and women's watches and jewelry, and a few other things. I think I saw hats or something on their website, but very insignificant compared to their watches and jewelry. I don't really resell jewelry or watches because usually jewelry is locked up behind a case, all the good brands at least, and you can't look up close unless you ask the manager or a worker to pull out something directly, and then it's kind of awkward to do research while they're just there staring at you. So I don't really resell women's or men's jewelry and watches, but Invicta is a great brand to look out for if you are interested in that or you do that. All right. 8th brand and final brand for this brands list video is Isla, spelled I-L-A, and Isla sells women's solid color clothing. They didn't have a lot of prints on their website, if any at all. I don't even think I ended up seeing a pair of prints or a pair of clothing that had a print that was not a solid color, but I admit I only went through like the first 3 pages. I wasn't going to keep clicking next page on a website that I can't even afford, right? But Isla also has a bridal shop, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, those are the 8 brands. Kind of an easy way to remember at least 2 of these brands is that Iro and Isla are both only 3 letters and kind of sound similar. So we have Iro and Isla, so those are 2 brands that you can just keep in your brain. And then other ones that I said. I've only ever found the brand Icebreaker out of all of these. So hopefully one day I can find some of these other brands. I feel like, although brands lists are important, and I say this in every video, it's like when you're a thrifter who's been reselling for like at least 6 months, then you recognize the brands that you see all the time, right? You recognize the JCPenney, you recognize the Kohl's, you recognize the Target and Walmart brands, right? You recognize the brands that you see all the time and aren't really worth anything. And so when like a new tag pops out to you, then you usually do the research because, you know, every reseller knows that's the smart thing to do. But these brands are still good to have in your mind, especially if it's a very, very subtle looking tag. One time I found a Dries Van Noten shirt, which actually is a brand in my D-list video. Definitely check out that video out. But Dries Van Noten, their tag was like a very simple looking tag. It kind of looked like a vintage shirt or something. Looked very plain. Didn't look like it had a lot of value, but I remembered hearing the brand name Dries Van Noten before, and so I did look it up, and I was like, whoa, I gotta get this. This is a great brand to resell. So I feel like that is why brand lists, and this brand list in particular, are valuable to learn if you are a seasoned reseller or a new reseller, because hearing these brands over and over get you better at learning the brands. But also, brands aren't everything, right? As a reseller, especially a clothing reseller, style-based sourcing is also really fun and can do you well. As I was talking about, these are my sales going out, and one of them is a pair of Bizot jeans that isn't really a great brand to resell, but it was, I believe, vintage and very Y2K looking, so style-based sourcing is also great too. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully. Bye.